We good? All right. Welcome to the Money Making Money podcast with our hosts, Mark Anderson, Albert Ceja, I'm George Apicano, and then our very special guest, Kris Ontiveros.
That's your cash flow.
Cash flow, Kris. That's right.
Oh,
Rolex don't cash flow.
That's right.
How you doing?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, on our podcast, we basically just kind of go over your history as far as an investor, the path that you've taken, struggles, and what you're currently doing. So, So, what got you into the business? How'd you get started? Tell us a little bit about your history.
All right, cool, man. So let's see. My adult history started back in the early 2000s. I love to have fun, party.
Right.
I didn't really have a direction coming out of high school, and so I ended up in Portland, Oregon.
Oh.
And one of my favorite spots on earth. I love
that
Portland.
place is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the people, the culture, the mountains, everything, man.
Really? I've never
awesome.
been to Portland.
The voodoo donuts.
Yeah. So, when I was 13, my parents took us there, and I just love the vibe. So I'm just like, I'm gonna move here someday.
Oh.
So right after my 21st birthday, we moved out there, a buddy of mine, and we lived there for a couple years. And again, I didn't have a college education. I was going to college, but never finished. Didn't know what I wanted to do.
Didn't see any money in it.
Was it just not your
that
thing?
wasn't it. It's just I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like,
okay.
I was raised very, very middle class. I was expected to go to college. It was always just not,
Mhm.
Are you going to college? It's where are you going
Mhm.
to college? What are you going to do? So, but again, I had no direction, man. Had no idea what I do. I was having fun. Don't get me wrong. We were early 20s. We were partying. It was a lot of fun. But anyways, on the 5th of July, because we went up to Mount St. Helens to party a little bit for the holiday, and the next day we were just heading home, and we weren't drunk or anything like that, but my buddy fell asleep on the way home, and we went head to head with another car.
Wow.
Yeah, so like he lost his life, another girl lost her
my
life in the car. Like, it was really bad. So
Wow.
that's kind of where I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I got to do something. I just felt like I was wasting it.
Yeah.
So still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I think that's kind of what triggered me wanting more than
Just
what I was doing.
Yeah.
So fast forward a little bit, I came home. I had to have my mom take care of me, right? My roommate wasn't going to take care of me. I was really messed up.
Ooh.
And so she had just gone to a seminar in San Francisco, and it was this guy called Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh.
Right.
Oh yeah.
This is when he was first on the scene, because again, this is like 2002, 2003, right around there. And my mom did what most people do after they go to a seminar. She bought the package, had all the books, tapes, right?
Yeah.
Came home,
Was it
set it
the-
on the shelf, and never looked at it again.
Yeah.
That's what most people do. So I was laid up, and so I just started reading, and I found her stuff, and I found Cash Flow Quadrant, and that's the first time made me think like, this is possible. Like, I never even knew that I could own a business or invest in real estate. Like, it's not like I didn't know, but it's not something that was even a concept to me.
Yeah.
You go to school, you get a job,
Mm-hmm.
you work for
Yeah.
whatever till you're 65, and then you retire, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the way. Yeah.
so Cash Flow Quadrant totally changed my paradigm. And then Rich Dad, I like to listen to books. I listened to Rich Dad probably 100 times
Yeah. Same here.
until it's just ingrained in my brain. And that was it, man. I quit my job a year later. I quit my job, got my real estate license.
So you were still in Cali at that time?
What's that?
Or were you still in Cali, or had you
In
moved?
Oregon?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Oregon?
No, after my accident, I came back. I never went back.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Okay,
I started dating my now wife.
Oh, okay.
So
And that's history.
got caught.
She tied you down.
That's right.
That's awesome. So when you got your first deal, after you did all of that, so you sold real estate?
Yeah. So the first part of my career is definitely in sales.
Okay.
I got my license in 04, 05, 06 was insane.
Right.
Watched the crash. When after the crash, I hooked up with a REO company, an asset management company.
Okay.
Just tons of bank-owned properties needed to be sold. Their focus was light cosmetic rehabs.
Oh, okay.
So instead of just selling them as is for cash, they would put 10, 15,000 into them and maximize sales price.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So people who got loans could buy them, not just cash buyers.
Yeah.
So they would
Okay.
if it's a hoarder house, they would just clean out everything on there. No, not
Every
even?
house.
Every house.
This was back in 09, man, 08, 09. Every other, I did Levine, South Phoenix, a lot of those newer construction communities.
Yeah.
Half the houses were vacant.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times there wasn't anything wrong with them, and so it was just everybody was in foreclosure. There was thousands and thousands and thousands. There would be 300 a day sometimes.
Oh, my.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy numbers. So
Right. But nobody was buying as well, right?
not many people were buying, but again, to capture the retail market, you have to especially in those markets, those subdivisions. You guys are aware, but just so the audience knows, the AC units are always on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's stolen.
So the second you list it, someone goes and steals it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because half the neighborhood's vacant anyways.
Yeah.
It was
You're
bad,
right.
man. It was really, really bad.
That's where they started putting those crates on top of them, huh?
Yeah, we had
Lock
to
'em up.
start caging them up,
Caging
and
'em.
so, but having, because they're newer homes. We're in 08, 09. These houses were built in 2001 through 2005 or
Oh, yeah.
6, right?
Mhm.
They're new homes.
Right.
So an air conditioning unit is the difference between 70,000 and 110,000.
Yeah.
So that's where we would come in. We would put in the AC unit. We would carpet paint.
Okay.
Okay.
And they never wanted to do anything major, but we would do countertops, light cosmetics.
Okay.
And so I did 30 of those, and so all of a sudden I know how to fix and flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you coordinated all of that, right?
I had to do everything as the agent. Yeah,
that's why.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I
would
got
take
it.
it over. We'd have to clean it out, change the locks, and then we would get them the bids from our contractors, and then they would make the decision on
Wow. So in essence, they basically paid you to learn how to.
Yeah.
flip,
Wow,
right?
that's awesome.
and every aspect of it too, because I had to provide them, hey, here's my as is value, here's estimated rehab, and here's what I think we can sell fixed up.
Wow.
Right.
So
And then when
because
the property sold, you still had to finalize that transaction.
yeah,
too,
so I'm the
right?
realtor.
Yeah,
I get a
so-
commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dope. It was
Wow, that's
it was
pretty good.
great. It was a lot of work, but
Obviously,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, by the way.
yeah. So I definitely was
Still.
okay to when those dried up, I was okay with it. That's when I was ready to go, because now it's 2011, 2012. There's a lot more buyers in the market. Homes are appreciating.
Right.
And now we're in the 130 to 160 range, so you can actually make a nice little profit. And that's when I started flipping myself.
So in those times when you did all the coordination and everything, you used to do it for the 3% commission.
Man, that was the bad part of it.
So in other words, they
I-
wouldn't pay you for any of the other stuff.
No, we'd be reimbursed. That was the other thing I had to come up
Yeah,
with.
oh,
Your
okay.
own
Funds?
reimbursed. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
So that was a rough part of it, because a lot of my properties, because I was in South Phoenix,
Mhm.
were under 30,000,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, back then.
A lot of $20,000 properties, and so they had a minimum $1,000 commission.
Wow.
And then I was at Keller Williams. I started at Keller Williams, and then they take a
Oh.
third.
Oh.
So I would get I would have like a dozen $660 checks. So yeah, 660. Yes, like this doesn't do it, man.
Right, right.
So
Funny thing is that if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, he was doing that in '94, and the same thing happened then. And home prices of the prices of homes were about the same, 30,000-40,000.
Now, why were is South Phoenix or wherever you were at? Is that where that company was based off of, or only did, or why is it that you only?
it's because I'm not smart and I don't figure things out. So what I learned after the fact, Wendy, my old assistant,
Yeah.
she worked for an REO company, a guy who listed like thousands of them, right? The asset management company assigns you your
Area.
properties based on your broker's zip code.
Oh,
My
really?
broker was on Baseline in 35th, so South Side.
Right.
If I would have got an Awatuki
Yeah.
address, I would have gotten all the Awatuki listings, man.
Yeah. Now you know. Wow.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, a little
Information. It would have been great to
that
know.
would have been good to know. Now I don't know if I would have got the listings because they probably already had people in Awatuki doing
Yeah.
it, but whatever, man. I've always been ghetto. I've always been South Side, and I just like, I don't know, cheap stuff because I like cash flow, you know.
Yeah,
Because I was buying those as well back in the day. In 2010 is when I first started buying my rentals,
Okay.
and you know they were 25 grand. My first one was $25,000, and it was not a messed up REO. It was a
Really?
short sale.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So it's people who just stopped paying.
Yeah.
And then they negotiated with the bank or whatever. The agent negotiated with the bank $26,580 or $25,580 for a 3-bedroom one that I ended up selling for $100. That today is probably worth $160.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that was your first rental that you bought,
That was my first rental. Yeah.
right? You paid cash.
No, I never
Right.
used my
That's
money.
the
for
reason why I asked that question.
No, so I was working with investors at the time.
Okay.
As a realtor.
From the REO listings that you had, right? Kind of.
As a buyer agent. So
Okay.
the buyer side, so those are my listing side. On the buyer side, I only worked with investors. I
Okay.
never wanted to really work with too many buyers. So traditional buyers, you know, just
Yeah,
showing
just
30
showing homes
houses,
and-
and I don't know,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
bored me.
Right.
And then with investors, they'll buy a lot more. You know, buyer's going to buy one house.
Right. Investor's going to keep on
Just
buying.
feed 'em.
Right.
So I had an investor out of California who was buying fourplexes, which, man, he was buying fourplexes for like $99,000 for the good ones up on Bell.
Oh my God.
Right, those are worth like
Jesus.
$450 now.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait
Yeah.
to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Right.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, anyways, I know he had a lot of cash, and so I asked him one day. I'm like, "What kind of return are you hoping to get with these?" And he was hoping to get a 12% return. So I offered him 15 to fund my deals 100%,
Oh wow.
and he did. And then that was another mind shift. Like, oh, here we go.
Right.
Give people what they want, and they'll.
Pretty much.
I didn't have to come up with any money. So
Oh, that's awesome.
almost every deal I've ever done, I've received an infinite return on investment because I
Mhm.
never invest with my money.
Yep. Our first property that we did as a triplex, no money out of our pocket.
Yeah.
None.
Well, and all the deals that we
way.
currently have too.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, only one of them has been.
One of them, but
But that's the way to do it, because if you wait till you have the money, you're just so limited. How many
Yeah.
deals can
Mhm.
you do? If I had $1 million, I would have run out of money a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we borrowed
Right.
tens of millions of dollars because real estate's really expensive, especially the bigger ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
So always learn to use OPM correctly.
Right. Of course.
You know, I mean, never over leverage. And like that first house, I paid him 15%. My payment was like $334. So while I borrowed 100% of the value, I mean, because that's probably all about it was worth,
Right.
it still cash flowed big time.
Right. What were you renting it at?
750.
750.
Nice.
See that? It's awesome.
It's infinite because you, no matter what, you were.
And you did nothing to the property. You get in there. Wow.
I mean, we probably cleaned it up, but no,
Yeah.
this one was in great condition. They took really good care of it. They were sad to leave, you know. I mean,
It's also super impressive that you remember that specific your first one. I don't think you probably never forget that.
Yeah.
no, man, it was another just change in my life. Cash
Yeah.
flow. That's
Yeah.
the first cash flow I ever had. I mean, that money came in, whether I was working or not. It was $300, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's
It's
great.
$300 you don't have to work for.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, most people have a car around $300.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A car payment, so that's one thing. Or your electric bill on average is probably $300.
$100.
Yeah.
Especially here
Exactly.
in Arizona.
Yeah, during the summer.
Yeah, Mark, you never forget your first one.
Yeah.
Never.
No, I'll never forget my first one. Definitely a big learning experience.
And so then, all right, so then 2010 comes around, you have now multiple? Or is
Yeah,
it-
so 2010, 2011, and start buying condos and single families and just doing that. And then I started my fix and flip career.
Okay. I have a question about condos though,
Please
right?
do.
Because we're
I'm not a big fan of condos.
yeah, we're not a big fan of condos in this market right now,
Mhm.
right? So obviously the market in 2010 was different, right? But what are some of the things that we should look out for if there is an opportunity on a condo?
I'm not a fan of condos either.
Okay, so then good.
Just because
All right, great.
but mainly just because they eat cash flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That the HOA fees and
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
not to say it's not a bad, first if you're trying to get in, that's not a bad one to have. Why did I buy them? Because they were $14,000,
Yeah.
and those rented for like $650. And again, they were short sales, didn't need any repairs. So, all right, I got a good little story about one of my condos, and it's more about just really you got to be aware of your surroundings. Don't just look at stuff blindly. So, back then, I bought this townhouse condo, and yeah, I paid $14,000 for it, 100% financed.
Mhm.
Which, what's that payment?
Jesus.
14,000 at
120,
15% is
Yeah, it's 100
180, 190
somewhere around
probably.
there,
Yeah, probably two something. And it rents for $650.
Yeah.
So minus HOA fee,
Right.
Yeah.
you're making a couple $100.
Yeah.
So, it was an okay thing. I was ready to cash out. It was worth like 35 at the time.
Okay.
So I'm like, cash out a quick 20,000. Awesome. And so I just threw it on the market, sold it right away, and made my money. So this particular property was the last row in all of the whole community. It was over on 35th Avenue, north of Camelback.
Okay.
Where GCU is. There was the baseball field, and then there's the that's Grand Canyon University.
Canyon
It's
University,
a
right.
huge up and coming university on the
But
west side of
back
town.
then it was a tiny
Yeah, so they
place,
were
right,
growing.
right.
They were growing back then. So it was right on the other side of the fence. So if you go there today, there's a parking structure there.
right.
Oh.
Why is there a parking structure? Because probably 2 months after I sold,
No way.
GCU bought the
Oh,
whole
wow.
complex
Wow.
for an average of like 76,000
Per unit.
per unit. So yeah, so I lost $30,000 by just not paying attention,
Yeah.
because I'm sure I got something in the mail about an
Yeah.
HOA meeting or just paying attention and what's happening and realizing the growth that's happening. Because honestly, I probably shouldn't have ever sold it because
Just right next
Yeah.
to
GCU.
GCU,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
You're now can
freaking
increase
A.
cash flow, and chances are
Yeah.
the appraised value is super high right now too.
yeah, so a quick 20 is nothing compared to
cost
what
you a,
Yeah.
if you hold.
another 30.
You
Yeah.
could have had your own parking spot in the new structure and everything.
rent the spot, right?
Right?
Yeah, so just be aware, pay
Okay.
attention, and I was my own realtor as well, so
Yeah.
make sure your realtor's doing that, and if you're the realtor, pay attention.
That's very funny. Yeah.
That's
so-
good though. Wow.
So while you were buying like all of these rental properties, were you the one going to the house to take a look at it? Did you have other people you doing that, or?
No, man, I had a real problem with that for a long time. I would do everything, including working on the properties, rehabbing the properties, painting, all that shit.
Okay.
It was crazy. So no, I mean, I guess to this day, I'm still the main person who evaluates.
Okay.
It's something that can be taught, but not everybody's great at it. So I like to at least put a final number on it.
So what was it that broke the camel's back to shift from doing all of the work versus what you do now?
So when I first started, that's when I would do a lot of it. And then really the thing is I suck at that. I'm like the worst painter, the worst everything that you can imagine. Like I have no skills at all, which is good because I'd probably still be, if I was good at it, I'd probably still be doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I just started hiring out, and you know, I didn't want to do it. I didn't like doing it. So I pulled myself out, but I stayed in to where I was doing everything as far as support.
Yeah.
So I got to where I was doing 12 to 15 flips at a time. And I mean, that's an insane amount of money to be recycling. It's an insane amount of just properties and time and people. And my phone was just blowing up all day. I'd probably have 150 phone calls a day. This one day, I pulled all my receipts out of my pocket. I had 9 Home Depot receipts. I went to Home Depot 9 times that day.
Damn.
Me, the CEO of the company, not the runner, right? Because I didn't have one, so I was one.
Yeah, you were everything.
There you
You were
go.
all the
And then
hats.
that is that where it clicked, like, oh, wait a second, this is not the best use of my time.
Yeah, so it got a little better, but not much. But so BP, Brian Ponciano is my business partner. He was on the show,
He was
right?
on the show,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So he was my number one client before we were business partners. So I listed all his properties.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay,
I was
cool.
doing 15 at a time. He was probably doing 10 at a time. Like we were busy. We were listing a lot of properties and selling. And so we would always do a Friday rundown. So I'd always go over to his place and we would hang out and just kind of go over what we got going. And that's when we started our show. Right.
Oh,
We're
okay.
like, we should just start recording this.
Right.
And so we did. And that's when the AZ Flip guys were born. And so, but to that fact is we would always talk about our stuff. And one day we're just like, what the fuck are we doing? We are making money and we have to do it again and again and again. And we got to find another deal. And then we had a couple deals that were just thin where, because the market started getting, everybody started flipping, right? So I would be doing deals that would make like 15. And then they would want us, they would find a bad sewer, a collapsed sewer line. That happened to me. I was making, it was a quick win. I'm like, it's easy. It's a 2-bedroom over here on Gilbert and Broadway.
Okay.
Right here.
Right.
Right. It was one of these little 2-1s, super easy to sell. I bought it, sold it like the first day for $125. No problem. It was going to be a quick little thin deal.
Yeah.
Because all we did was just paint the cabinet. It was easy, easy. But yeah, collapsed fucking sewer pipe. Orangeburg. That whole neighborhood has Orangeburg, which is like a tar paper. They used like a tar paper for the pipe. So that whole neighborhood has bad. If it hasn't been replaced, it needs to be replaced, right?
Wow.
So that's like $8,000. I was only gonna make like 16 or 15.
Oh, jeez.
So
There goes half.
yeah, and so we were just like, what are we doing, man? This is just crazy. So on one side, I decided to get out of the fix and flip, and we started doing new builds, and we could definitely talk about that if you guys want.
Yeah.
But me and BP side, we're like, it's time to get cash flow. I mean, I've been selling cash flow. I've been preaching cash flow.
Yeah,
It's time to get some cash flow. I have, in the meantime, sold all my rentals to fund my high fucking cost construction business, right? Just ridiculous. So that's where we just made the switch. He went to Boston for a Marco Kozlowski seminar thing. And then, I mean, we had a good, so we kind of ran with his program, which is basically you want to be all in for 2/3 of value.
Okay.
Which, if you really break it down, that's what it is. So you can end up refinancing and get everybody their money back.
Right.
Like we could dig into that if you want, but that's the kind of just the methodology. He came, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good strategy. Let's just do that. And so we just started on the cash flow path, man, and we're over 100 units now.
Nice.
So you started when you guys started that, you guys automatically went to a lot of units, multi-units.
So yeah, that was in the end of 2017 is when he went to Boston and met Marco, and then we were just research, plan, and evaluate.
Yeah.
Like people would, because we're all about networking. Like
Yeah.
if we want
Right.
something, we just start talking about it. And
Yeah.
we tell everybody in our sphere, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want.
Isn't it amazing that how it comes back to you though?
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, same with the office earlier, like we were talking
Yeah.
about. I would tell JD, I mean, that's off, they don't know what we're talking about, but we'll talk about it later. But synergy, that word synergy. I'm like, I need synergy. I need synergy.
Yeah.
And there it shows up. So anyways, okay. So we studied and then we were just evaluating deals, and a local guy, Mike Crane,
Okay.
was on
Mike.
LoopNet scoping for deals, and he found one in Hope, Arkansas. Population 10,000. Like it's middle of nowhere, man. So, but the numbers were pretty sick. 27 units, and we ended up buying it for $375.
Okay.
We're all in for
500.
yeah, and it's worth $750. We have an appraisal
Nice.
for $750. So we're there. We're all in for 2/3.
Right.
Okay.
So then, so when you bought it at 375, were the market rents low for that area?
Yeah.
Is
So
that what
this
it is?
particular guy. So again, we had several layers of distress. This property had been out there because as a distressed property, it had been out there on LoopNet. A couple people that we knew actually contracted it. They ended up not buying because they couldn't find management in that town.
Oh, okay.
But we got but that it was probably in the mid to low 4s at that time
Okay.
because he wasn't super motivated. It's because his only motivation was kind of a dilapidated building.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad, but we did end up turning every single unit.
Okay.
So cosmetically, but the bones were good. You know, the roof is good,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So he had a semi-distressed property, but that was his only distress. So he wasn't really willing to go down as far as needed. But then he got cancer. And so,
That's unfortunate.
yeah, it is. But that's motivation factor number 2.
Yeah.
You know, the more things they have,
Yeah.
you know, wife barking at you, I want to go back and live with my family.
Yeah.
Because they were like Middle Eastern. They're definitely not from Hope, Arkansas.
Okay.
Got it.
So how many things can we stack to where, you know, because we couldn't buy it for 425 and
Yeah,
too much
yeah.
work.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna, you know, we needed an extraordinary return if we're gonna invest in this small little town. So we got our price, got him out of there. Yeah, most of the rents were like the studios were like 300. Basically, his thing was if you paid, he wouldn't raise your rent.
Oh,
Okay.
So
Got it.
people had been there several years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we came in and let them know, hey, new ownership. This is what we're gonna be doing.
Did you guys go and fly out there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
We
Okay.
did.
I remember those videos you guys were making out there.
Yeah.
You
So
and BP. Yeah.
We did most of our due diligence ahead of time. Like we were 99% sure we wanted it.
Yeah.
We met out there for the actual inspection.
okay.
So
You got it under contract first, and then you went out for the inspection.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And were they 1-1s or 2-1s or a mix?
There's a house that's a 2-1. There's one apartment that's a 2-1, and then it's probably a 60-40 split, 1 bedrooms to studios.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of really small units.
Really small units.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And so then now I like always looking at numbers, right? So
Mhm.
then how did you, right? So you got a price at 375.
Yep.
How did you approach the finance part of it? Like how did your investors come in? What did you do to gather the money for it?
Well, that was a huge learning experience because we needed to raise. Well, the original plan we were going to raise the whole 500.
Oh, okay.
We were going to have no financing. It was going to be free and clear. Our investors were going to get a preferred rate, and then we would split profits after a certain amount. You know, kind of a kind of semi-typical syndication type deal. It wasn't a syndication,
Mhm.
but everybody bailed on us.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Everybody bailed on us. We had it over collected, and you know, everybody. So we found, I mean, and that's for us has been really common actually. And kind of the dig that we're finding is a lot of people, while it's a great return, it's this and that, a lot of people don't feel comfortable putting their money out there for 5 years.
Mm.
And that's what you have to ask. It's a long, you know, this is real estate, it's buy and hold. For me, I never probably want to sell these properties. I learned, I sold
Yeah.
all my $20,000 houses that were cash flowing like crazy,
Mhm.
right? So ideally we're holding these forever, but yeah, people didn't want to have their money out for 3 to 5 years. So, you know, you live, you learn. So we ended up raising 150
Okay.
and we got a hard money loan.
Hard money loan. Okay.
And we took it down and then we had to refinance and then we had to refinance again. And the theory is always great, right? You go out there, the gurus, you teach this. Oh, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. No problem. You buy it, you have equity, you refi, no problem. Except when there is a problem.
There is a problem, right?
So
there will be.
that's where we're at. We're at a problem because we had a refinance pretty much done. It was a little bit of, it was not a little bit, it was a subprime loan. So we were going to be at like 7.5.
Okay.
In this market is stupid, but still it's the
Right.
thing cash flows like crazy.
Cash flows,
So
right.
we just wanted to get all our investors' money back and, and be able to do this. So that ended up falling out because they changed policy because our properties are worth $25,000. I mean, it's cheap. It's a cheap property, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the high cash flow. So our properties are worth $25,000 per unit. And they upped their standard to 40, like 2 days. We got to clear for close. And then they're like, oh, wait.
And we just changed our guidelines. Oh,
Yeah, and we
my
spent-
gosh.
We spent like 10 grand on that refi. So crazy. But, oh man, I was talking about something else before that. What was that? Oh, so everything is great in theory until it's not. So we have, again, it's worth $740. We have an appraisal that we paid for that we couldn't use.
Mhm.
We're in it for $5. We're only looking for a $500,000 loan, right? Our gross rents are like $13,000 a month.
Yeah.
We're managed. We're fully rehabbed. Like this is a sweet, easy deal.
Mhm. Especially for a bank.
But we're under $1 million.
Oh,
Right. So most people don't want to mess. Most people, that's their standards.
Yeah.
They won't
Most
under $1
lenders.
million.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because it's still an apartment, 27 units.
Mhm.
We're in a small town.
Yeah.
Those two
Awesome.
factors, we cannot get a Freddie
Okay.
Fannie loan. It's been ridiculous
Really?
because this property makes more sense than any.
No shit.
The numbers on this is disgusting, and they would much rather lend in Little Rock on a property that makes way less money. Like, because in multifamily they have like a debt coverage ratio, right? And a lot of those are going to be like 1.6 or 1.5 or
1.5, yeah.
so. Meaning, if my payment's $10,000 a month, they're okay with me gross income $15,000, like, and they're cool with that. That's like their guidelines. We were going to be at like 3,000. And we're bringing in 13,000.
No.
That is still
Right.
not
Like
freaking
these,
no
they'll
fucking
fund
way.
all these
Mhm.
thin, razor thin deals.
Right, exactly. California, like lending in California is insane. Like,
Oh
it's
my
insane.
God, that's
Yeah, they'll lend on a property out there, but
That's okay. Probably what we'll end up doing is raising some private money. Or
private money.
actually, we are. BP is going to be heading to Hope to look. God, the Midwest kills me, man. So he has to go and physically apply for these loans.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
in a bank,
Yes.
right?
So we've got all the applications. They're like, no, we need this and we need that. I was like, oh my God,
We
gotta
need to
get everything.
see you.
Are you a real person?
Wow.
You're not. You're not a Nigerian prince from somewhere.
That's insane,
Wow.
That's
That's
see,
crazy.
yeah, we would have never known that.
Yeah,
We
that's
would
good
have
to
never
know
known
that.
So we jumped. We found a great deal. It makes perfect sense, and we're a little bit stuck right now. So
Okay.
our hard money eats up all our profit on that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
All right. So if there's a lender out there that's willing to lend at a little bit less out in Hope, Arkansas.
Under $1 million, under 100,000 population with huge cash flow. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's
But
do it.
you talk about, hey, let's put this out to the universe. We've already started that like 2 weeks ago. We decided, hey, you know what? While we think we're going to be able to refi, we'll probably be able to get a loan with the local, because there's like 3 banks in town.
Okay.
Like literally you can see one from the property.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what do you want to refinance? Like, I want to refinance that
Yeah.
right there.
I'm
One
not going
across the street.
anywhere.
Maybe you can make it even a sweeter deal if they have all the deposits come in from the rents.
Right?
Right.
Oh,
There you
nice,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
So, but we have consciously decided, you know what? 7%, 6.5%, 7% long-term money. That's something that somebody is going to want to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You find the right person, 500, 550,000. We'll tie it up for 10 years. We'll pay you 6-7%.
Oh, gotcha.
Someone's going to jump on that. So
Yeah, okay. Like,
we're consciously putting that out to the universe. So that's also what we're looking for. So, and then same with our Cleveland stuff. Like we have, we want to package 10 properties, 500,000, so because, we are going and getting all the one-off loans and stuff.
Right. But after a while, it starts
I just
getting.
prefer people over banks, man.
Yeah.
Banks drive me crazy. I'd rather pay someone 2 points higher than have to deal with it.
It's more personable, isn't it?
It's so much better.
Yeah.
And the bank's not going to pay them either. So let's just get rid of the bank.
Yeah.
I'll pay you a little more. You make more. It's easier for me.
Yeah.
And it's a win for us too. I mean, 6% money, 7% money, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of cash flow we have.
Yeah. So I want to know about your Bisbee property, right? So this is more of a, right. So we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and the metro area, Bisbee is still 30 minutes away, right? 30?
3 hours and 30 minutes away.
3 hours and 30 minutes away from
He has a
metro,
flying car.
right? Metro Phoenix. Well, the reason why I bring that up is because chances are people that are listening, they're like, okay, well, how can I find an opportunity?
Sure.
And if the opportunity is not here in the metro area,
Yeah.
well, what about outside of that, right? So
absolutely.
how did that come about? What did you guys do? How did you raise the money and all
Yeah,
that?
we don't buy in Phoenix.
Yeah.
We don't hold in Phoenix. Let me
you don't hold.
We don't hold in
right.
Phoenix because the returns suck.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want a 5 or 6% return. I want a 26% return. You know what I mean? So BP has a property in Douglas. So where is Bisbee? Bisbee is 10 miles from the border.
Okay.
It's Naco is a border town.
Okay.
So if you go to Tucson and then head east towards New Mexico, you'll hit Benson.
Okay.
From Benson, you head south. You're going to hit the badass little town of Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
If you guys haven't taken, you guys have boys?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
I guess girls would probably love it too, but I got 2 boys and they love Tombstone.
Really?
It is cool. Well, it's the original Tombstone.
Yeah,
it's the real old town. Like, it's dope. And so then Bisbee is also a cool little town, an ex-mining city. So, also a little bit past that is Douglas, Arizona.
Okay.
And BP found that deal on Craigslist a couple years ago. So he bought 15 units down there. And so on one of his trips to go there, like Douglas is a crappy little town, so he doesn't ever stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Bisbee's a cool town, so he always stays in Bisbee. And so in typical BP style, he didn't pay attention to any of the details. And he didn't have his assistant at this time. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to go down there. I'm just going to rent wherever, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, it was a holiday. It was a 3-day weekend. So there was nothing available. So he had to rent in this motel in South Bisbee.
Mm-hmm.
And he got to know it was an extended, what was it called? I forget. It was one of those crappy chains.
Okay.
And so he got to know the owner and was talking to him, and he's like, you ever think about selling this place? He's like, oh yeah, I'd sell it. And so he ended up contracting it. The guy had it listed for a while. It wasn't listed at the time, but he always wanted $1 million for it. We got it under contract for $850.
Nice.
And it was in pretty good condition. We didn't really have to rehab anything. We had to do a few things for Section 8, like add a vent here and there, but it was in very good condition. It had been rehabbed about 3 years ago.
Oh shoot.
And so I mean, when he brought it to me, I'm like, I guess, like, what's the play? What's the value add, right? Because we're not getting a huge discount necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the numbers on a motel, we're way overpaying.
Okay.
Because he doesn't run it right.
He
doesn't make any money. And those guys, the small motel business owners, he certainly doesn't show any income.
Right.
He probably makes a lot more than he shows, but when he shows us his numbers, it's like, this thing's worth like $300,000, right? Based on that.
All right.
But the value add was there's no housing in Bisbee because it's a town where people visit, and so everything's like an Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
So for locals, there's very little. There's actually only one other apartment, and it was just actually condemned.
Oh, wow.
And so we might buy that one too. We'll see. I don't know if I want to own 2 Bisbee apartments, but so that was the value add. there was a lack of housing, and so 38 units.
How did you find out that there was a lack of housing? Just
Research.
just
Yeah.
research.
Yeah, we searched what was
Googled
out
it?
there, what's for rent, and then just talking to a lot of people. We talked to the Section 8 people,
Oh, okay.
and they made it seem a little rosier on there, and then it ended up being, but
What's the population of Bisbee?
5,000.
Oh wow.
But
Oh wow.
you have Naco right there is 13,000. You have Tombstone is like 10,000, and then Sierra Vista's like 20 minutes.
Oh, Sierra Vista.
And
yeah.
they're
I know.
like 50,000. So
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
pretty
okay.
deep. There's a
So
Home
there's
Depot
where-
and Walmart and all
Alright.
that there.
Yeah, my
Yeah. 'cause
And
it-
Douglas.
Woo!
Douglas is right there. Yeah. So it's tough, but we're the only game in town.
yeah,
as
I
well.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Hope, and so sorry, I don't mean to jump back, but in Hope, did you also check out Section 8 as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do Section 8.
Section 8.
We do
every
Section
time.
8 everywhere.
Everywhere.
We prefer it.
Didn't know that.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right on. Right on. And so then when you bought the property in Bisbee, how did you raise the capital for that? Or
So Bisbee, we negotiated a seller carry.
okay.
Oh, nice.
And so 850 was the purchase. He wanted 300,000 down.
All right.
And again, people bailed on us. We had it fully booked out. People bailed on it. So we have, you always got to be on your feet, right? So we had a really good relationship with the seller, and we got him to carry more. So we
Okay.
closed with we had 200,000 raised. We got brought on 2 investors into the LLC. So we had 200,000 raised, and then he carried the rest. And then we were looking to raise the money. We got busy. We ended up me and BP kind of just brought the rest of the cash.
Okay.
Not preferred, we're looking to get our cash back out as
Right.
well,
Yeah.
because we don't like doing that. That money could be
Yeah,
Used
for-
for
yeah.
elsewhere.
Right. No,
yeah.
I
So
get it.
we'll bring in one more investor, and then so the 300 down. Actually, we need a little more than that. We're going to be all in for around 9
Okay.
because there was a little bit of repairs. Plus, we needed a lot of money down on utilities and little
Oh,
things.
for the deposits.
Yeah,
and
it's a
all
lot
that,
of little things that you don't think about when you're moving up to apartment investing, such as my property doesn't have a mailbox. Okay, well, I don't need one mailbox. I need 40 mailboxes.
Yeah.
So now you're
Wow.
spending $5,000 on a mailbox cluster.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like
Right.
$100,000 goes really fast.
Yeah. Well, the numbers are bigger.
Yeah,
that makes
38.
sense.
If we just put 3,000 into them, that's $100,000, and
Yeah.
3,000 is nothing.
Right. Yeah,
So-
it doesn't do much.
Yeah, you
Oh,
always
my
want to
gosh.
have reserves for sure, and always borrow more than you need, because money sitting in the bank is always a good thing. You
Yeah.
can always pay it back. So yeah, that's where we're at on that one. So we're getting it performing. We were Airbnb for a little bit. That helped pay some bills while we were moving people in. Bisbee shut us down. You're one or the other. So we said, all right, we're apartments and
Okay. And then these are they 2 levels, or is it just single level?
single level.
Single
yeah,
level,
it's
okay.
like it looks
Oh,
like
single
the
level.
Bates Motel.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
man.
My son and I went to Universal Studios a couple months
Yeah,
ago,
but-
and I was looking at the base. I'm like, I own that place.
That trip that takes you right next to it, to the basement.
Instead of a
Yeah.
murderer, though, we have maybe some ladies like, you guys have human smugglers going there from the border, and we're like, whoa, we better check that out. We checked it out. She was crazy, but that's some things you never think about. We're right on the border,
Yeah,
there.
right on the border.
and we definitely don't want to be involved with any of that crap,
Yeah.
smuggling drugs or people or whatever. So yeah, you got to be aware, because we're not there. We never go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So we, our boots on the ground. It's real important staying in touch with them. So,
How did you find your boots on the ground there?
trial and error. So Douglas, the Douglas Apartments. Leo is BP's property manager over there.
Okay.
So he lives in Douglas, knows a lot of people in Bisbee. We found the first one, didn't work out. Second one didn't work out. Third one, fired her. We're on the fourth.
Oh,
She
wow.
seems to be good.
Okay.
But yeah, man, quick to fire for sure. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're not competent, you just got to get them out there.
Yeah.
And the tough thing is they don't do much, so we don't have to pay them much. So it's hard to find. So basically, we get free rent.
Yeah.
We don't pay her anything. We pay her per placement.
Okay.
And then if they do any maintenance, then we would pay them for that too. But
Oh,
same
okay.
with Breckenridge. So
Okay.
Breckenridge is Bisbee. I'm sorry, is Arkansas.
Arkansas. Okay.
Appfolio.
Okay,
Appfolio
Appfolio.
allows us to run
Appfolio.
these properties. I swear to God, I need to get an Appfolio affiliate.
Affiliate,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So that allows us to do what we do. And if it's not them,
It'll be someone.
software.
Right.
Software that does all this stuff allows us to manage from afar,
Mhm.
and our managers don't have to do anything. So this is what our property manager, like if I just think about either one of those property managers, this is what they don't do. They don't market.
Okay.
They don't take applications. They don't review credit scores and stuff. They don't write leases. They don't collect rent.
Okay.
Damn, so what do they do?
Exactly. Exactly. So what they do is they show the unit,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
They get face to face with the tenants because we
Mhm.
always want someone
Right.
looking them in the eye,
Yeah.
because you can't tell
Yeah.
some crazy person on an application. And then he's maintenance.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. that's all
And
they
even
do.
on maintenance, it's just an SR, right? They do a service request or something to you guys. and then-
Exactly. Which also is not sent to them. It's in Appfolio. So if you need maintenance, you go on the app. I need maintenance.
Oh.
Our VAs get it and they call Mario.
Okay.
It is amazing. It allows us to be virtual.
Right.
Yeah.
100% allows us to
awesome.
be virtual. So yeah, so we throw a new apartment in there. You're going to upload all the every unit. So it does the accounting, everything, and the payments. That's probably the biggest thing. Anything can do online leases and stuff like that. That's
Okay.
easy. Yeah. So
It
somebody,
collects
they go
payment.
put in a guest card. They request info from the system. We send them a link to the application. They pay the fee.
Mhm.
And then they fill out the application, and then we get it there. We review it. We click a button to pull up their report. And then if they are on automatic pass, if they meet our standards, it's an automatic acceptance. And then they pay $400 in the system. So now they're in the app. So
Yeah.
once you apply, you're in. You have your
Yeah.
account. And the app is easier to use than Facebook. It's super simple.
Wow.
So they pay their deposit. They go on, click on their lease, click to sign their lease. It's all in the system.
How are you
That's
not
it.
getting paid by Appfolio right now?
Right.
We got to make a call.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get them on the line right now.
So they're in, and then they pay. Like, you ever had a check? Oh, check got lost in the mail.
Yeah.
Right. We had
No.
that on one of our last ones, but it was for real because our property manager sent it. It was the Bisbee. We didn't have everybody in the system, and so they paid a goddamn money order. He mailed it. It never showed up. So now she paid. What does she
Yeah.
care? Like, now we got to get
Right.
her to go down to Circle K and get a
refund.
copy and this and
Yeah,
that. Like,
stuff,
are you
yeah.
kidding me? So absolutely, like everything, we not collecting checks, not collecting any money, no cash, no nothing. Awesome.
That is
Game
really
changer.
good.
Yeah.
Dang,
Appfolio.
Folio? At Folio?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What
Okay.
you just recently started doing, like your own developing, right?
Mhm.
What led to that and making that decision, and how are you pursuing it?
So I had done a few add-ons,
Okay.
and when I say add-on, we tore the entire house down to one wall and built a new house. Like that saves you on time and on permit time and all that.
Yeah.
So that's typically the way to do it. So you're going to tie into this one wall. You don't even know, it's a brand new house, but it's not a brand new house. So I had the confidence in that.
And I'd also here in Arizona, that's the difference between a remodel and a
In a new build.
new build, right?
Which is,
Right.
expense and time
Right.
is a lot
Oh,
easier.
really? Wow.
You need less plans and
Yeah.
And I'd say a main reason for that is because you already have your level. You already that concrete, that little crappy little patch of concrete you're going to keep. It's actually really important because the level of your foundation is very important, even in a desert like where we're at. So finding that level is a big part of it, and that requires engineering and stuff like that. So I understand where it is.
Right.
Because
Okay, good.
when you have that, you're just adding on to
Yeah,
it.
you're just
You
adding
don't
on
have to
to it.
find that actual. So I get it. It makes some sense. And so while you're saving that little concrete, you're saving money there. It's still
Yeah.
you're saving a lot more. So I had done that before, and then my Orangeburg sewer line happened. and it just pissed me off, man. So I'm like, why don't we just, well, here's what it was. So I flipped a house in South Phoenix, and it was 1,000 square feet, and I sold it for 150 grand,
Okay.
which is even worth more now. But I'm like, 150 a foot. That's crazy, right? This was a couple years ago. And so that's when I'm like, man, you can build. And then, of course, all the builders are building, but they're doing it to scale and very, very cheap. So I just started kind of crunching the numbers. I knew that I could do it. And when I got that Orangeburg sewer, I'm like, let's just do it. And so we went to the south side, my favorite little area, south side, got a cheap piece of land, sold it to ourselves because we always got it. You got to make money. You got to pay the bills. So we bought it for 35, sold it to ourselves for 45. And then we built that first one. It was a 1,500 square foot, and it cost like 140 to build. And we sold it for 292.
Nice. Nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Big spread. So I hit on the fix and flip side. I had my formulas to where we would always, so ARV, what's it worth fixed up, minus 30%.
Yeah.
That was always my number because that's
Right.
what I was taught. And then minus repairs. And that 30% was 20% profit and 10% for holding / closing costs.
Okay.
Okay. So I had already dropped to 25%. And sometimes I was looking at 20%.
Yeah.
And we were just, and of course, where is that? That's your margin.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's
Your
where
rehab
we're-
cost isn't going to get
Right.
cheaper.
Yeah.
So we were making less and less and less. So new builds hit that number easy. So that's when we started.
Okay.
And so bigger profit margins. I'm never going to have an issue with the inspection,
Right.
because if the inspection comes with something, just grab the Binzer, the inspection report. Oh, here, contractor, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's what you need to fix, and then warranty it for 2
Right.
years.
2 years,
Yeah.
right?
Right. And I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody calling me now. My phone never rings now. I love it.
That's really
That's
good,
awesome.
man.
I don't have 10 guys calling me and Home Depot runs and this and that and the other. And it got bad after a while, man. Like hiring a GC and just having as my mentor said, a mature grown up adult. I wish I would have got into that business earlier,
Yeah.
because I was always so cheap. I would try to save money, do it. And I would save money.
Yeah.
That first house we built for like $70 a foot.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
So I should have paid 10 more and not ever dealt with it,
Dealt
because
with
I
it
would
at
have
all.
gone and I would have 3 or 4 or 5 more
Yeah.
in the
Deals,
pipeline,
right.
instead of you just focus, right? Mature grown-up adults, I tell you what, Robin Thompson taught me that, and I didn't take her advice until just a couple years ago, because we just hire them and they go and it gets built, and then we're off doing these other things, and it's really made all the difference.
Nice. That's really nice.
So the project that you're working on right now, it's somewhere around here, I heard, right?
Which project?
There's a development project that you're having outside of somewhere Sunrise, it's a Surprise, or somewhere out in that area. It's
Oh,
a development project,
okay,
50
okay.
mobile homes.
No, you're getting your lines crossed.
Okay.
So our good guy Pace Morby,
Okay.
that's his project.
Oh, that's his project. Okay.
He partnered up with my new partners, which is the Batch Skip Trace people. They're
Right.
also called Higher Offer. Higher
Okay.
Offer is
Okay.
their real estate side.
Same.
They just happen to own Batch.
Okay.
They partnered, and they found old mobile home community that had never been developed. And yeah, they got Area 51 is what they call it.
Wow.
And so they're putting on new mobile homes.
Okay. So you're not a part of that?
I'm not a part of that,
Okay. Okay.
but so that's what they have going on. We went to Houston, and at the end of last year, I don't know, when was that? That was right before fall break. And got to know them better, even though they were in our city. I knew them. I didn't know them. You know, we were we were acquaintances, and that was it. Got to know them. So we came back from Houston after the whole scaling event, which was awesome, and I followed up. Right, you got to build those networks. So
Right.
I followed it up with Jesse Burrell,
Mhm.
and because I knew he was Batch, so I'm like, you know
Right.
what, I'm going to use your services, and then how can we do business
Right.
together?
Yeah.
Because I love collaborating with people. And so we sat down, shot the shit for an hour about the Niners and Seahawks. 'Cause
Oh,
he's a big
okay.
Seahawks fan, and we just
Yeah.
right. And that was, that's where our friendship kind of grew. We really had something in common. But then, and then he hooked me up with the batch stuff. And then on my way out, I'm like, hey man, I got a deal that I'm trying to fund. Are you guys looking to do any deals? And I told him that it was, at this time, we thought it was going to be like a 30-some unit subdivision.
Mhm.
And his ears perked up. He's like, yeah, that sounds interesting. How much money you need? I don't know, like couple million. Like, I don't know. So
I don't know, maybe a couple million,
the
maybe.
the wheels start
I don't
spinning.
know, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he knew that they know people. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They're in a building that they just borrowed like $700,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know people with that, people with a couple million for sure.
Right.
And if not, we could meet
find
them.
it,
So,
right.
anyways, we talked about collaborating, and on those two deals, I had kind of took a leap. I because we have 15 to 17 infill new builds in the pipeline.
Okay.
So we're moving product for sure. But I had never done a full subdivision. I had done one, but I'd never developed it. I had split
Okay.
it. I split 11 lots down on the south side, but I did not participate in the development part of it.
Okay.
So this a realtor friend of mine, again, that's why it helps to have a license in many, many ways. She saw what I was doing, because we're noisy as can be on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We let everybody know
Right.
what we're doing, and so she sees it, and she's like, hey, I have a lot, and then Kay, this other lady I worked with at Keller Williams, she's got a lot. They're right next to each other. You combine them at 7 acres. You can do.
Oh my goodness.
What?
So we got them both under contract with a long escrow, and then I just tried to figure it out. And then another realtor friend of mine, he brought me an off-market deal at the same time, and it was zoned R5, which is very high density residential.
Okay.
So apartments, and then it
cool.
was also zoned like C2, which is commercial. You can do anything.
So you can do a mixed use.
So basically, it's a small lot, like an acre and a half, that you can fit a lot of units on.
Wow.
And so again,
You can go up.
5,000, yeah, you can go up to
right.
40 feet.
Oh wow.
So, a little 5,000 earnest, cross your fingers and pray. So we're gonna not, because that was a wholesale, so I
Yeah.
definitely had to put up hard earnest money
Yeah.
on that one. The other was not. It's nice dealing with realtors. They're not as cutthroat.
Right.
Like, they'll give me an inspection period, because it's a lot of work, a lot of due diligence.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I brought Jesse the
deal.
what is going to now be 24 lot subdivision,
Okay.
and they didn't have the money. They committed to the money, and then we started talking about the other one where we can do 60 unit apartment complex.
Oh,
And they
nice.
committed to that one too. I had to talk them into that one, because they weren't as comfortable, because none of us have ever built an apartment.
Yeah.
But when you looked at the numbers, like,
Yeah.
we're going to make probably as much on that as we're going to make on all 24 houses combined.
Wow, nice.
So now we have $21 million of real estate in the pipeline with them. My new partners.
Wow.
Nice.
21 million.
21. Yeah, the apartment should be worth around 9, and then probably 12 million for the houses.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Congratulations, man.
That's just
awesome.
some chump change laying around.
Right, exactly.
quite the pipeline,
Yeah.
And this is not, I'm not a rich guy. We
Yeah.
we made money.
Yet.
Yeah. Shit, give me 6 months.
Right.
But again, it's not. I got to tell you, the cash flow is more exciting than, because I own a good 25% of all those projects at least.
Yeah.
All our stuff, I am 50-50 with my other guys. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's plenty of cash to come down the pipeline, and that's super, super exciting. But me and BP ramping up, that's I don't know, man. That's what gives me a sense of relief and all that. So we're over 100. We want to get to 200 units. We're going to keep our 2 apartments, and then
You guys are gonna keep them.
we're going to
Good.
ramp up Cleveland.
Right.
So
It sounds like an exciting journey too. Like just talking about your Arkansas and
It's
what
fun,
the mishaps.
man.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I mean,
like-
BP and JD, my other business partner, like, they're my business partners. They're my friends, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing business with my friends, and that's when I decided to not be a solopreneur, and I decided to bring on BP as a partner. That made it that much easier to bring on JD as a partner, because I was never gonna partner with anybody,
Yeah.
because I don't know. I mean, it's always kind of negatively talked about. The only ship that doesn't float is a partnership. You ever heard that one?
Yeah.
So people throw negative shit, and not to say that partnerships can't go bad. They do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Gotta find the right partners.
I don't know. You ever hear Gary? You guys, Gary V fans?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
You ever tell Gary, hear him talk about how you might be a better number 2?
Mhm.
Oh,
You might
yeah,
be in
yeah.
a better number 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now on these partnerships, I might be the 1, I might be the 2, but I don't really care.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's better. 1 + 1 equals way more than 2.
Yeah.
Like we get so much more done. It's, I don't know what it is, man. It's collaboration, and then we're both on the same page. And yeah, man, it's fun. Going to Arkansas was fun.
Yeah.
We actually we had to network. We're always about networking. So when we were going to go out there, this was a couple years ago. It's right in the middle of Dallas and Little Rock.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I had just found these guys called Propelio.
Mhm.
This guy Daniel was
Oh,
doing
yeah.
all these
Propelio.
videos. I'm like, this guy Daniel's the shit. I love this guy,
Yeah.
right? Because he would always talk about doing these ghetto deals, and it's like that's the real stuff. Like he'll teach you how to become a millionaire on crappy mobile homes, $5,000 mobile homes, and that's so many people think, oh, I'm above that. No, man,
No,
come on.
man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, money's money.
so I was
Right.
a big fan. So I'm like, let's go to Dallas instead. Maybe we can get on their show. We'll interview
Right.
Daniel because we were doing Flip Guys at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hit up Ryan, and we
There it
were
is.
chatting,
Right.
and again we became friends with them. And you guys know how that relation,
Right.
the Arizona Texas connection.
Right.
I swear,
What's happening?
I'm
like
taking
that.
full credit. Seriously, we started that. Me and Ryan started that because nobody watched Propelio.
Yeah, I know.
No,
That was
exactly
knew who
big.
they were.
Right.
And so we started going over there, and we started introducing. And then Corey Thompson came
Right.
to
Came
town with Ryan. They were in Tucson for something, and we had lunch with him. He's actually who told us about Appfolio.
Oh, okay.
And then we
He
started.
came up here, right?
Yeah,
So-
he
right,
was here. We ate at Rustler's Roost, and we just collaborating. And then all of our people started watching Propelio.
Yeah,
we
I
would
know.
share, and they would share, and we would go
Yeah.
back and forth.
Right.
And then we're going to their. We went back and we went to their event,
Yeah.
and
they came here.
yeah, and then they
We went
came
to that
here,
event,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing.
it
what
would have
happens with
happened
couples.
eventually.
Right.
But
You guys are the ones.
me
that
and
started, yeah.
Ryan were just like, I like these guys. These
Yeah.
guys are sharing a great message.
Yep.
They're trying to help people grow. They're trying to help people be successful.
Yeah.
And that's what you need in this industry.
Yeah.
That's what me and BP always wanted. That's why we did our show. We just gave.
Yeah.
And
Right.
100 episodes later, I mean, hopefully those two apartments we talked about in our show, we walked through those apartments. Everything from locking them up, finding them,
Yeah.
up, everything
Yeah.
to the end, we completely broke down. So anybody can do what we did based off that show. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. And we're following suit, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we learn from you guys. So yeah.
you gotta
that-
learn, man.
Right. And the collaboration that we have here is amazing, right? So these guys followed in and all of your connections, but here in Arizona, it seems to be
Yeah.
that everybody's helping each other out, right? We all want
We're
each other-
famous for it. I tell you what, every
guru
time
capital.
yeah, it is. But we all help each other
Yeah,
for the most
that's
part.
right.
Yeah.
There's a few selfish people in town always, but we want each other to be successful. We live in a city of like 4.5 million. Like
Yeah,
if you
I know.
can't find your own,
Yeah.
you got issues, right? I mean, so now when I get a deal, I walk it down the hall.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about this one?
Yeah.
Got a buyer for me?
Freaking awesome.
You want to fund this deal? What do you think? Give me your input on this. And it's not like
No.
there's no
Yeah.
jealousy. There's no, backstabbing stuff.
Mhm.
It's great. And other people from other markets are just like, you guys are awesome. I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah.
Everybody is
Helping each other.
cutthroat
Yeah.
out here, and
And
Yeah.
well, but that's the thing, right? So reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset, right? Just in that right there, that allows a lot of freedom,
I love that.
right?
Abundance
yeah.
mindset. Having an abundance mindset.
like a subdivision. What if I'm like, I can find the money. I'll do it myself. I don't even want to give,
Yeah.
I'll find regular financing. It probably would have taken me 3 years, 4 years, right, to
Mhm.
get this thing done. And yeah, I would have made all the money. But now,
Yeah.
it's kind of almost all on the back burner. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
But they're doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
My business partner is working with GCs. He's doing this. I'm doing this. Like my job is almost over.
Yeah.
Right.
When,
Now you're
when
gonna
it's
be
ready
on-
to sell, I'll
Yeah.
hop back in and I'll be kind of a part of that. But that's a year away.
Right.
So what am I doing?
Finding another
Finding
deal.
more deals,
Finding
finding more
another deal.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Finding more deals,
land,
finding more
land.
money. Yeah.
Yep, that's freaking awesome.
Love
So
it.
is that the direction that you're gonna head? I mean, obviously it's gonna be more stuff like that, but basically being a builder and cash flowing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
So we want to start building more apartments than houses if possible. If the market drops from underneath us, which it,
It
sure,
could.
it will.
Yeah.
It will one day. So first of all, we like building starter homes because
Okay.
if the market drops, we rent them, we hold them,
Yep.
and then apartments definitely you
Yep.
hold if things fall out.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking to do that.
Okay.
And then, yeah, like I was saying a minute ago, I'm really excited about the cash flow side because we want to get to 200 units. I mean, just think about that. 200 time, if you have an average of 500,
Mm-hmm.
what's that?
100,000.
40,000 a
Right.
month.
Yeah.
2 times 5. 2 times 5. Right. 100,000. Right. Yeah. That's 10.
How much is that? 10?
100,000.
So yeah,
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 it's
my bad.
100,000.
No, I was doing.
Yeah.
So that's 100,000 a month,
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
right? So
Wow.
count 60,000 for 40,000 for expenses.
For expenses. Yeah. You're
So you got 60,000. Now take away your debt, maybe another 30. So that's $30,000 a
A
month in
month.
cash flow.
Yeah.
Divided by 2 people.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
still 15,000 cash flow in your pocket after everything's paid.
That excites me.
Hell
And then it's just
yeah,
gonna
that
grow.
excites me
It's just
too.
gonna grow and grow and grow. And if something ever happens to me, my family's taken care of. Not, I don't know, man. There's just I don't like,
15,000 every month for
For life
yeah.
Yeah.
and that'll be our
freaking-
baseline.
and beyond.
Yeah,
Freaking that's our goals as well too. But yeah, that's awesome, man. That's freaking awesome. Man.
it's exciting. It's exciting to think about.
Mhm.
And that number is probably gonna be higher
Higher
because
than that.
we don't average 500 on rent. We probably
Right. More. than
like
that.
our houses in Cleveland all rent for like 900.
Yeah.
Now in Cleveland, are you gonna be looking for apartments as well, or are you just doing notes, or what?
We like fourplexes.
Okay.
We haven't gone with anything too big out there. Duplexes, we have a few of them. Don't
Is
really
it-
like them too much.
Is there a reason why you don't like anything bigger than fourplex over there in that
Just
area?
because it's harder to manage. Right now, once we get Bisbee fully working, then we'll probably look at another apartment.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
the single families are real easy to run.
You have a-
We have a list. We have like 1,000 people on our wait list for Section 8 for houses.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody have vouchers. It's crazy
Oh,
out there.
wow.
Like, there's so many vouchers, and so we know if we get a single family, it's rented. Like it takes probably 2 months to get it rented because the process, the government takes forever. But once you get them in there, they're not going to move.
Wow.
Damn.
All right.
That's
The
awesome.
government's
That's what
going
we
to
gotta
be
hit.
giving us those checks. We
Yeah.
don't even have to collect. So
Yeah. Automatic direct deposit.
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that's fucking
Cash flow,
awesome.
man. Yeah. And so while I can really, I mean, if you think about it, I probably have out of the 20, we have about 25 in the pipeline, 25 million, 20% profit, 5 million profit in the pipeline. And I own 20 to 35%
of
of those personally.
Right.
It's fucking wild. Beyond my dreams. But that
Yeah.
15,
okay.
man, that
Yeah.
30 a month, it's
Yeah,
just,
we're not,
that's
not having to
exciting.
really go out there and look for it. It's already
Yeah.
just coming
It's
in.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
this other stuff I got to work for.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
still got to go find more land, right?
Yeah.
Got the
Yeah.
center, got to go find more. Keep
Yeah.
going, keep
Right.
going.
Keep going.
But the cash flow,
Yeah,
that's
So,
forever.
that's for
A buddy of mine that's a developer, what he ends up doing is that when he buys the land and gets the buildings already starting to be set, he ends up owning 0.25% of the development so that he can keep those the apartments or the whatever properties just as cash flow.
Smart.
So and it's
Because
already
at a
built
certain
in.
point, you have all this money in the bank, which if you're a developer, most developers have quite a bit of money.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Let's just get real. It's hard to be in that business if you don't.
Mhm.
Do you want to just stack it, or do you want? Because now you're just gonna pay taxes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You refi and hold, and I'm sure there's a significant tax advantage to that, as well as cash flow,
Right.
as well as future appreciation and I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we all kind of want to get
And he
there.
builds it into the contract when he starts. So he says that he will maintain ownership of whatever 10 units, 25 units, whatever the amount is, or whatever a certain percentage of those, and he owns those right from the
brilliant.
very beginning because of the work
Nice.
that he's doing to get the deal done, raise the capital, so on and so forth. Right?
It's a lot of work. It's
It
a lot of
is.
work, and it takes a lot of balls to do it too. Like a lot of people aren't up for that kind of
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
risk. You know,
Yeah.
in quotes risk, because everything's a risk
Mhm.
in life, right? Working 40. If I would have took that goddamn 40-hour a week job, that's a risk, man.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
that is.
It's a risk for hating my life.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
I've been there, yeah, and it's it's
Because
so-
time. I mean, so we went. There's a guy that I know. He works as a mechanic for Southwest Airlines, and so he can fly anywhere that they fly for free, and his whole family anytime they want. Just book it, go.
Mhm.
And we were out in a little camp out, right? And he's talking about how my wife and kids went up to Idaho or whatever. Like that just must be awesome. You fly whatever you want. Like that would love that. He's like, dude, I never fly. I have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
The
did.
family
the
enjoys
wives
it.
and
Yeah,
them
I
do.
can't get time off work. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, talk about being shackled. That's
Yeah.
worse than not
Fucking-
being able
yeah,
to
I
do
know.
it, right?
Yeah.
Last summer, I went on a 22-day vacation with my kids and my wife. We went to a bunch of parks. We went to Yellowstone and Oregon Coast.
Oh yeah, you did like a little
and
road
Redwood
trip,
Forest and Moab, Utah. And we just went on 22 days.
That's awesome.
And it's not even the money that a lot of people don't have. They don't have the
Yeah.
time.
Time.
Yeah.
They don't have the freedom.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what's most important to me. Time and
That's
freedom.
Yeah, I
awesome.
think that's where it really is. It's the freedom to go and do these things.
Yeah.
Once you have the financial freedom
Yeah.
to make it
Mhm.
happen.
I want to show my kids experiences.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not about just, we were talking about it on Steve Trang's show. I don't know if you guys caught that
Yeah,
one, but
I watched it
it's Jesse Itzler. I
Mhm.
love Jesse
Oh, yeah.
Itzler. That guy's awesome. I first saw him on the Tom Bilyeu podcast. I don't know if you guys watch that on YouTube.
No.
Tom's the man. He's the best interviewer in the game. But he has just this thing where it's like, hey, how much time do we really have?
Right.
Our kids, they're pretty worthless until they're 4, right? And then they leave us at their 18. So
Yeah.
you got 14 summers with your kid.
Yeah.
That's
14
it.
summers.
You get 14 summers.
My mom is 60, and I'm like, even if she lives to 80, I only have 20.
He does that with his
20
like
visits left with her.
if she lives to 80, that's 20 years. How many times do I see
Right.
my mom?
Once.
Yeah, I
Right.
know.
Right? One time. So do I want to see my mom 20 times more or
Yeah,
200 times more?
Right.
And so that's where you put stuff on your calendar and be like, you know what? I'm going to do. I'm not going to let a year go by where I don't see my mom 6 times
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Whatever,
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I do that with my siblings. I live in town. We all live in the same city.
Yeah.
I live in the same city with my parents and my sisters,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean I'm going to see them. You have to. So once a month minimum, I'm going to have lunch with my sisters, and once a month minimum, I'm going to have lunch with my parents.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a lot more than that, but it's going to at least be
Maybe
once,
that.
12
Right.
times a
Yeah.
year.
12 times
Yeah.
a year.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of time people they get so busy they don't even see their
Okay.
siblings, their cousins, their whoever's important, your boys from back. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how many times have you seen somebody who was a good friend? It's like, God damn, how many years has it been?
Yeah.
3 years,
No,
4
it's been a
years?
long
Like,
time. Yeah.
dude, text them, put them on the calendar.
Yeah.
Let's this April. Same with vacations. It's like, oh, I can't afford it. I can't do this. No, man. Like, for example, me and my wife, I saw a great deal on tickets to Hawaii. So it was like March, and I booked for September. Bought the tickets, right?
Yeah.
So we spent $600 now. Is Hawaii expensive? Yeah.
Mhm.
But can I save $200, $300 a month?
Yeah.
$100 a week, whatever it is, do
Yeah.
some side jobs 6 months, because then I get to experience a week in Hawaii with my wife.
Fucking
Right.
That's worth it. Because if I don't do that, the whole year is going to go by and we're not going to go.
Mm.
And then a decade's going to go. And then, maybe we'll be 65 and old. And,
Right. And you can't even move around.
Yeah,
to
you can't
get
even
done.
enjoy
Right.
it.
Yeah.
We went to Hawaii a couple years ago with the whole family, and there was like 13 of us scuba dive or snorkeling.
No.
Oh, that's
We got a picture of it. It's
nice.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
You know what I mean? Experiences.
That's really
Yeah.
good, man.
No, love it. Yeah, Jesse Itzler. What was that book? It was the Living My Life with a Marine, or
Yeah.
My Life with 30 Days with a Marine, or something.
Yeah, it was.
I know David Goggins was the Marine.
Goggins was the Marine. Oh, what are they called? One is Living with Monks. I like that one better. And then the other one was Living with.
Yeah, with a Marine or something like that.
Jesse Itzler,
Living with a
though.
Navy SEAL. That's what it is.
Living with
Living with the Navy SEAL.
he's on the circuit now, and you know he's always on talk shows and stuff. He's got his little program.
Yeah.
Him and Gary Vee. Actually, him and Gary Vee just did a episode.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Gotta watch it. I'll watch it.
Yeah, he's got a cool story, man.
Well, let's start to wind it down. We're over an hour now.
Yeah.
so
Cool. No worries.
Let's
where
go
can we
to-
find you? Yeah, right. We could. Honestly, the conversation could keep going and going and going. Where can we find you on social media and everything like that?
All right, so my name is Kris Ontiveros. Nobody knows how to spell my last name,
I could barely pronounce it.
and
so.
it's Kris with a K. So if I went that way, no one would ever know how to find. So I'm Cash Flow Kris. That's why I took that one. First of all, I love cash flow, and second of all, it's got to be easier to know how to find me. So yeah, Cash Flow Kris with a K, and you can find me everywhere but Twitter, I think.
Right.
Yeah, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
And obviously this show.
Yes.
So we do have an affiliate. It is Batch Skip Tracing. So you can use promo code. So this is for all your skip tracing needs. And what else was it? Skip tracing batch services, basically. Skip tracing, RVMs, texting.
Yeah,
all
they're
of those
awesome.
services.
Yeah, we just switched over to their system for the SMS.
Okay.
They just launched the SMS. They're cheaper, and everything's right in there. Yeah, they
Right.
run an awesome company,
Awesome
man.
show.
Yep.
What's you have an affiliate code, right? What is it?
Yeah, I won't
You
take
forgot
your
it?
affiliate.
No,
code.
go ahead.
Oh, cash flow.
Cashflow. There
What
you go.
else?
So go ahead and put in the affiliate code Cashflow, and there you go. You get a special discount.
And what's ours?
CNH. CNH. Cash Now Homes. Yeah.
Cash Now Homes. Yeah,
Cash Now
so
Homes.
awesome. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I love to share this message because more people need to be holding with real estate.
Yep, I agree
absolutely.
with that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only way we're going to retire wealthy.
Yeah.
Is buying and holding.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm glad that we're on this adventure with you.
Yeah.
And appreciate
Thanks
your
for
time.
being here, man. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Mahalo. All right.